I don't know if it's jealousy because he couldn't keep his own university open even with the charges of fraud, or because none of his kids got accepted. But Trump has unleashed a personal vendetta against Harvard, one of the oldest universities, and this is embarrassing. In a loud rant via Truth Social, and also in a weird news conference where he accused most of the news outlets of being fake news, Trump once again threatens to freeze funding for Harvard, specifically their research grants, and then give it to trade schools, prompting most reasonable people to ask, what trade schools are doing research? Many graduates from Trump University entered into my comments to lecture me about why Harvard doesn't deserve federal funding, even though this money to Harvard was appropriated by Congress, not the president, through National Institutes of Health for biomedical research. By nature, trade schools are not designed to do biomedical research. And even though all of these scholars in my comments are insisting that Harvard is receiving so much money from the federal government, one, this is only about 60% of the money that they receive for research purposes, just for research purposes. But two, they don't even make the top 10 list of schools that receive the most research funding, like grants, from the federal government. These are the schools that receive the most funding to research things, because the government pays people, universities, to research things, because it's in the best interest of all of us for things like cancer to be cured, you know? I mean, maybe you don't, because some of you seem to be supporting people that want to cut that funding. But I digress. Also, I spy Trump's alma mater on this list, the University of Pennsylvania. Last week, Trump's Homeland Security told Harvard that their international students could no longer attend and would have to eventually forfeit their visas, because Trump was insistent that he wanted the names and countries of Harvard's international students that make up about a quarter of its student population. Harvard shared the memo from the Department of Homeland Security and its concerns that it was being targeted by the administration. So Harvard sued for a restraining order against the President of the United States, and they won. Because, as it turns out, once again, Trump had absolutely no legal standing to do this. But why let a judge and a court and legal laws stop Trump from doing things he wants to do? He's threatening to take away their funding and insisting that he gets the names of these students and the countries that they're from, like it's some big fucking mystery, which of course it is not. Arizona Senator Ruben Gallegos, like, guess what? You already have all that information that you're asking for. When people apply for student visas, they tell the State Department where they're from and what school they're attending. Once again, performative distraction and revenge. No one knows if Barron Trump was actually rejected by Harvard, but everybody's speculating, because why else would the president be so angry at Harvard University? And there are a multitude of reasons. Trump has used anti-Semitism as the reason that he is attacking Harvard. Harvard allowed there to be student protests against the conflict in Gaza. Many other universities have allowed protests on their campus. But as Harvard is one of the oldest institutions in the country, it's also one of the most liberal. By attacking one of the oldest universities, Harvard, Trump is directly attacking knowledge, the pursuit of knowledge. And that makes sense under a fascist authoritarian regime. Of course, someone like Trump needs to be able to control the flow of information and the education, especially if it's valuing things like diversity and equity and inclusion. Oh man, this video is never going to get seen. I said all the buzzwords. The problem with this is that Trump isn't going to just stop at Harvard University. He's going to start here, and then he'll start picking on anyone who gets in his way. Anyone who disagrees with him is now a part of his personal vendetta, his personal quest for revenge. And in doing this, he is eradicating people's access to education. Number one, that's a threat to democracy. He is also preventing international students from attending, which is cutting the U.S. off from the rest of the world. That's another trick that these type of authoritarian fascist leaders like to employ. So Trump will use buzzwords like foreigners to try to rally up his people to be mad at Harvard, this elitist university, and tell all of you, the people at home, that universities are useless and why would you go to them? Meanwhile, he sends all of his kids to Ivy League schools. I'm a big proponent of trade schools, and I believe that not everyone needs to go to a university, but trying to prevent universities from doing important research, that is detrimental to all of us. And restricting the flow of knowledge and education, even if it's just symbolic, is a threat to democracy in the world. And as much as I wish it were true that Harvard revenge launched free courses about dictatorship, it is not. But they do have a lot of free online courses, foundational courses about American government, and they've been online for a while now. And I was thinking maybe we could start going through them together. They are free, and it never hurts to refresh your knowledge. So maybe we should start a study group.